Michigan leaves Nashville singing the blues. Their NCAA tournament experience much shorter than anyone expected. Hi everybody and welcome to Inside Michigan Basketball. I'm Matt Shepard. The Wolverines for the first time ever were a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. It's the highest seeding a John Beilein's coach team had ever had, but there were some concerns coming in. If you remember back in the Big Ten tournament, Michigan had trailed early in both their games, down by as many as 9 to Minnesota, but they were able to recover. Trailed by as many as 13 in the semis the next night against Ohio State and never could stage a comeback. The same type of pattern continued in Nashville at the NCAA tournament when they played Ohio on Friday night. This time, it proved costly.
The worst loss we had all year. It's just unfortunate that our seniors had to go out like this.
What was the biggest trouble? I mean, you guys could never just seem to be able to get over the hump.
Well, yeah, I really don't know. We missed a lot of layups. I know that. Down the stretch, we had some critical turnovers that bit us going down the stretch. Ohio's a great team. We knew that they were a good team coming in the game, and we knew that we couldn't, get them, that type of confidence from the get-go, and we did.
They shoot about 43% tonight. They were over 50%. What happened defensively?
Our focus was so much on Cooper and, trying to get him, keep him from out the lane. We left some of their other players open and, they knocked down shots.
You guys were really good defensively all season long. It seemed like there was a little bit lacking there. What was it?
Yeah, I just think they kept getting, they moved the ball really well. And I think that's something that, we didn't, I won't say we knew they moved the ball well, but, to that degree, they really executed their offense. They found the open man. They drew and kicked, and that's a tough team. It's a really tough team.
What was the biggest struggle for you? I mean, you just never seem to get over that proverbial hump.
It just stops. They're a great team. They all can shoot the ball, and they made all their free throws. We missed easy ones. We missed layups. We had opportunities to make and take wide open threes, drive to the lane. Layups didn't go in. Including myself, I had 2 that didn't go in, and it's just how the game goes. You never know what the ball's going to do.
Was the sense of urgency there from the get-go, do you think, or was that lacking a little bit?
Yeah, the sense of urgency was there. Everybody was happy. Everybody was excited they were here. You could tell out there we were in the first half. A little up and down, a little jetty here and there, and we just got to do a better job of just keep staying composed and just trying to let the game come to us instead of trying to go out there and try to take it. But Ohio's a great team, poised, great coach, great players. So hats off to them.
In all of our minds, it seemed like that we were just waiting for the game to come to us and just waiting to take the lead and waiting for them to give us the lead. And that didn't happen. I think we might have tied it up or cut it to 2. I really don't know, but. Like I said, Ohio's a good team, and we couldn't give them that confidence that they had down the stretch.
We just couldn't get it to go our way. Too many mistakes, and just couldn't get it together. We dug ourselves in a hole, and they're a really good team. So had big shots, too many defensive rotations we missed. Just gave them too many looks.
We didn't shoot great. I don't know if we forced some things. I know I took a tough 3 there in the second half. Just didn't shoot well, and Cooper shot really well. Hasn't shot a great percentage all year on average, and he just came out and got hot early and kept it going, ran the team. It was tough to guard some of those ball screens. I think we tried to force him to his right hand a little bit. He turned it over twice in the second half, or into the first half, and in the second half just couldn't force him into the tough spots like we did at the end of the first half. So he did a great job running the team, and they just ran great action. And Walter Alford had a great game at the end, created a lot for himself and for their teammates. They just overall played really well.
Playing catch-up all night long didn't help either, and you guys dug yourself a 13-point hole.
Yeah, it's tough. Being down like that all game. We had that against Ohio State, but it was just a little different. It's hard to put my finger on exactly what it was, but, pressing a little bit at the end, like I said, it forces them in some tough shots, missed some layups, just pressing a little bit, maybe a little too anxious to, try and make up points, and that happens. We're still a young team, and we're still, they'll grow from this team, we'll grow from this, definitely. It's, I don't know, just didn't think it was going to happen today.
Well, this is not the way your expected season ended to a very good Ohio club. What do you think was the biggest problem?
Well, we had to make shots that, you know, and we knew we were going to have trouble making guarded shots, and we made a few of those, but we needed to finish around the basket. They were going to take away our three-game, Matt, so we had to drive it, and when we drive it, we got to finish. We really had some troubles there, and that was a big difference in the game. I thought early in the game we had some unforced turnovers, just going too fast. Really simple plays that we could have made, and so this was a game that was going to be very tight. I mean, I just looked at, they beat that Asheville team by 22 a little bit ago. They had Louisville on the ropes at Louisville. They're a good basketball team. There's, you know, they could win it again tomorrow and get in the Sweet 16 without a question. But we had to play well. We didn't.
You guys didn't take them lightly. You guys studied for them. You played really, really hard against them. But defensively, you've been so good all season long. They shot a pretty high percentage against you. What was the struggle, do you think, defensively?
DJ Cooper. He is so good that to guard him and stay in front of him was so difficult. He's probably Trey Burke 2 years from now. I mean, that a kid that is just really knows how to make the right place at the right time, and then he can shoot it from really deep. So I was, it was just tough to stand in front of him. He really spread us out. And so that was a big difference in the game. And then, of course, they got veterans all over the floor, everywhere, and really made that extra pass today. I thought Baltic had a great game. Keeley had a very good game. And they made their foul shots. They got us a foul line. They made their foul shots. We did, too. We just didn't get there enough.
It's a very emotional locker room for your team, and that's tough to handle for a lot of people. You handled it extremely well. What's the sense that you get with Stu Douglas and Zach Novak?
I mean, they're really upset. I mean, that's not the way they wanted to end their season. We didn't do all the things that we needed to do to win the game, and those guys have worked hard at it. In the long run, they won't be remembered for this game. They'll be remembered for get us to this situation that we're rebuilding the Michigan program. We're not there yet, Matt, but they'll remember for being foundation pieces of this because they worked so hard, and they were just pleasures to coach.
You gave them big embraces, Corey Person as well, Ben Cronin. All guys meant so much to you in this program. What type of legacy do you think they leave?
Well, I think the people that really know basketball, that really understand coaching, that really understand the University of Michigan, will understand what they brought to us. You know, no, they're not. I've said many times that their banners are not, their jerseys aren't going to be in the rafters, but their jerseys are going to be in my rafters. As far as me knowing, they were big parts of just having the cornerstones in building this program. Now, Zach said it so beautifully. You know, I'm a stone here. Tim Hardaway and Trey Burke, they're the big screen TVs in your house. I'm just trying to hold this house together here to make sure that we can do our best. He certainly did. It was a great coaching them and a great part of our foundation.
Always gracious with your time. Thanks for it all year long.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Stay with us. Later, we get a feel for spring football and the honor given to the Michigan hockey team. But up next, an emotional University of Michigan locker room farewell for two guys who helped turn back around the Michigan basketball program. Inside Michigan basketball. Welcome back. You know, it was an emotional weekend for the Wolverines in Nashville, even before they lost their first-round game to Ohio. Thursday night, after a team meal and a 30-minute film session, the Wolverines sat down for a 15-minute short Michigan basketball documentary named Amazing Hoops. Afterwards, coaches and players looked at one another and said, you know what, there's a lot of people counting on us, including the seniors, Zach Novak, Stu Douglas, and Corey Person. Unfortunately, Michigan fell short in a 65-60 setback to the Bobcats, ending the careers of those three seniors.
They've been leaders ever since sophomore year here. And, you know, it's not going to be the same without them in the practice facility. In the summer, getting better, make sure everybody's at the gym on time, an hour before. And, you know, just they're going to leave a great legacy here.
It's unfortunate I'm not going to be able to get to play with them again. You know, I'm just telling them I love them. I really don't know. I'm still in shock that we lost.
What do you say to Zach Novak and Stu Douglas, Corey Person, the seniors on this club you won't get to play with anymore?
Just thank you, man. Just thank you for everything you've done for this program, not just for the team, but for the whole program. You know?
I'm just kind of in state of disbelief right now. It's kind of hit me, but not quite enough fully. Seeing these young guys grow up, you know, growing into a leadership position for them, you know, just the progress we made as a team from day one when we started. Every single year, really, and this year especially, it's going to be something I'll miss a lot.
When does it sink in?
I sunk in. I think after Coach got done talking for me is when it, really hit me. It stings now, but I think at the end of the day, you look at what this team accomplished, from where we started. A year ago right now, not quite a year, but, Darius left. Everyone said, we were screwed. And, we proved a lot of people wrong. We won the best conference in the country. You gotta give Ohio credit. I think they just played a hell of a game today, and we just, we didn't have it totally. We missed shots that we normally make, not just threes. It's tough to overcome.
What will you miss most about this locker room?
Definitely the guys. I've spent, I've grown up with these guys. So that'll be the toughest part.
Up next, the women's postseason script, and later on, a national champion is crowned in St. Louis, and his headgear is decorated maize and blue.
Welcome.
Deserve. It's the first time the Michigan women's program had reached the NCAA tournament since 2001. They opened up against Oklahoma in Norman, and Matt Park was there.
After trading a trio of baskets to start the game, Oklahoma jumped ahead with an 11-1 run to open up a 10-point lead 6 minutes into the half. The Sooners hit 8 of their first 12 shots, while Michigan struggled with turnovers. Trailing by 13 late in the first half, U of M made a run, with Sam Arnold netting 4 straight points before a Courtney Boylan layup cut the deficit to 7. But OU ended the half with 5 points in the final 40 seconds to lead 48-36 at the break. Oklahoma sophomore guard Aaron Ellenberg caught fire to start the second half, scoring 13 consecutive Sooner points to balloon the lead to 19. The Wolverines kept fighting and used a trifecta of threes from senior Carmen Reynolds to get within 8 with 9 minutes left. But the Sooners held off U of M's rally behind Ellenberg, who netted 21 of her game-high 28 points in the second half to pace OU's 88-67 win over the Wolverines.
When I came out of the game at the end, I kind of got a little teary-eyed. It kind of hit me then. So it's sad, but, I'm happy to be part of the Michigan tradition and leaving the legacy that it did. It feels really good.
What do you think your legacy will be when it's all said and done, now that your career has come to an end today?
Well, hopefully it won't be based off of my last game here. That's not exactly what I would want. But, hopefully we've left the program better than we found it. I think that was really key for us, coming in here and building a program.
I think that's a measuring stick now for the rest of the program, obviously. The kids coming back next year, it's something that they've got to shoot for. There's a benchmark there, and obviously anytime there's a benchmark, you want to climb above that. So I think that's really what the goal of the program is. The players feel that. I know the ones coming in next year are going to want to do a little bit better. We'll have some new blood in the starting lineup, obviously, because Courtney and Carmen are now out of there, so that'll give us a little lift in that respect equally as well.
So Michigan's season ends here in Oklahoma with an 88-67 loss to the Sooners, but certainly progress made. An NCAA appearance for the first time in over a decade, 20 wins for just the 4th time in program history, and the future looks bright for the Wolverines women's basketball program indeed. From the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman, Oklahoma, for Inside Michigan Basketball, I'm Matt Park.
The sounds of fall returned to Schembechler Hall on St. Patrick's Day as the Michigan football team had its first of 14 spring practices.
Come on, go! Attack! Attack! Hey, you're stepping out.
It wasn't as crisp as we wanted to be, but we got some things to work on. I got to make some throws that I need to work on when I'm rolling out, so these are things I probably need to work on more. And actually, we look well for day one. We look pretty good for day one, but we still got things to improve on.
We had a lot of energy. I think, watching the guys run around a little bit and be competitive, I think that was all positive.
It's not going to be perfect from day one, but if we can continue to get better, I think that we can work on our disguises from a defensive back standpoint, and we've just got to be working on stopping the run. I think that's going to be big for us too.
There are questions about both the offensive and defensive lines. the receiver position, and more. But Saturday was mostly about knocking the winter rust off.
We've been missing this, so it's been exciting to get back out here. It's a bit sloppy at times, but that's what you expect with the first practice, and looking forward to improving.
We finally get to play some football again, and I've been missing it.
The guys came out here. They know they've got a lot to prove and a lot that we've got to improve on. And so I think they came out and they had good energy.
Spring ball concludes April 14th with a public practice at Michigan Stadium. Stay with mgoblue.com for the most comprehensive coverage of Michigan football. It's good stuff. Don't forget to join Jim Brandstatter for the first of 2 Inside Michigan football segments right here on Fox starting on April 2nd. You know, you could argue that the Michigan hockey program is the most successful athletic program here on the campus of the University of Michigan. Red Berenson's hockey team again reaches the NCAA tournament for the 22nd consecutive season. That's an NC2A record, by the way. They are the #1 seed in the Midwest region, #2 overall. They'll open up in Green Bay against the Big Red of Cornell Friday night.
Some teams have been happy to make the tournament and once in a while and hope to make it every year but don't, and our guys have found a way to do it. I really credit our players, our coaches, the staff around the program. The expectations are high at Michigan, but we found a way to do it, and it's not just making the tournament. You want to do well when you get there, but you can't do well if you don't make it.
It's like Michigan tradition. I mean, we have the experience to go deep into the tournament. I mean, we've won the most national championships out of any college program, and we're looking to hang another banner up in Yost.
Obviously, it's great to be a 1 seed, but we have a tough bracket, and we need to go and play in our best hockey, that's for sure.
Michigan lost 3-2 to Western Michigan in Saturday night's CCHA tournament championship game at the Joe, but still are one of the most feared teams in the country. After winning just 1 game in the month of November, the Wolverines have bounced back big.
Mid-November, #1 seed seemed like it was out of reach, so we're really excited to get that 1 seed, but at the same time, we know that every team in that bracket, every team in the tournament this time of year can win any game on any given night, so 1 seed's nice, but it doesn't really mean much.
I like the chemistry of our team. I like the fact that we've got this far by playing good defense and keeping the goals against down, and I like the fact that we're still improving.
Experience is the key for the Wolverines, who made it all the way to the national championship game last spring before losing in overtime to Minnesota Duluth.
Everyone but the freshmen played in the national championship game last year, which is definitely some good experience. But I think this is a new year, and we gotta come back with some new energy and find a way to get back there.
Getting to the national championship game last year, some tough games. Being down in that first game, down 2-0 in the first period. Learn how to play with, when you're down, and learn how to win is huge for our team. We got 8 or 9 new faces, in the freshman class that haven't been to the tournament, so obviously they're going to lean on us a little bit more, and hopefully our experience will help them out.
We've been a team that's had that experience, obviously our seniors, juniors, sophomores, and our freshmen will figure it out pretty quick that this is a business trip, and this is the best hockey competition of the year. We've had a good season this year in the CCHA, but you really have to jack it up a level in the NCAA tournament somehow.
Hey, congratulations to senior Kellen Russell, who used an overtime takedown to beat Iowa's Montel Marion 6-4 March 17th to capture his second straight 141-pound NCAA championship. Kellen is the 6th wrestling Wolverine to win multiple NC2A crowns, and it comes just 2 weeks after he became the program's first athlete to win 4 Big Ten titles.
I wanted to be part of this rich tradition, and wrestling was the way I could do that with the whole University of Michigan, not just Michigan wrestling. So by sitting down and reflecting and realizing, I need to show myself in a good light and do all the things I can to help the program and help the university, and wrestling was my pathway to do that.
Russell finishes his stellar Michigan career with 134 victories and finishes with the second highest winning percentage by an individual wrestler in the history of the program. Way to go, Kellen. Well deserved. Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Inside Michigan Basketball. I'm Matt Shepard, and go Blue. Inside Michigan Basketball is brought to you in part by AT&T. When you can go faster, you are free to do more. AT&T. Get it faster with 4G. Rethink possible. And by the new University of Michigan C.S. Mott Children's Hospital and mottchildren.org. Our new state-of-the-art children's hospital is now open for your family.